Hey all, it's nearly 12 a.m. here in Sydney, and I'm recording this video now simply because I couldn't get around to it, and um, I finally made some progress, so I wanted to share that. Um, I didn't spend the whole day working today because, I do have a day job, and today is when we started back at the day job, and so I couldn't spend the whole day working on my projects. So I've only just after I got back from work, I went to the gym, and after I cooked, had dinner, ate, I had some time to. I had about an hour and a half to actually dedicate to doing some of my own things, like uh, um, modify the NodeJS API that I've been working on. So right, the focus here is the two GitHub projects that I've got, the Node TypeScript CRUD notes and the React TypeScript to-do list app. Both of these apps are on GitHub, and I'll put a link to them in the description of this video so you can check it out. And so my goal for today was that I was actually going to modify the Node.js API and add an endpoint to fetch the weather data using an external API. In my case, I'm using OpenWeatherMap. OpenWeatherMap is an API that I've used in my previous projects as well, like namely the My Day to Do API, the My Day to Do app on the on iOS and Android. I take that back. I don't think I released a My Day to Do version on Android. I used a different app in Android. It wasn't exactly My Day to Do, but I used it in one of my apps on Android. So yeah, I actually thought that it would be fairly straightforward for me to update the Node backend, Node.js backend, and then deploy that, and build a UI for that in my React app. But it wasn't quite as simple. There was a few things here. First of all, I actually wanted to add a new CNAME record on Route 53 that would actually point. There would be a subdomain um, that would point to the backend app. And so yes, I managed to do that successfully, and I also managed to configure that to serve it via secure URL by creating another listener on the load another listener for the load balancer. I've actually blogged about this in the past, like how to serve your API deployed in an Elastic Beanstalk environment via a secure URL. I've got a blog post on that, and to be perfectly honest, even today when I wanted to do this, I could not remember how to do it. So I just went back and looked at my blog post, and I knew exactly how to do it. So, um, if you are an engineer, try to blog. Even if it's a really short blog post, try to blog about the things that you do on a daily basis. It wouldn't just help other people, but it would also help you. So I'll put a link to that blog post in the description of this video as well. And so yeah, I managed to do that, and then I updated the API, and it was all working fine. I was using my OpenWeatherMap key from my that I'd used in my in my previous projects, and it was all working. It was all working fine locally, but when I deployed that app to the AWS environment, I had like Elastic Beanstalk environment. I had some trouble accessing the weather data, getting the weather data. I kept on getting a 401 error, and the reason for that was it was actually fairly obvious, and I sort of saw it coming. Um, it's that locally I've got a .env file, for the environment variables, things such as the OpenWeatherMap API key, the the Google Auth API key, etc., etc. I actually save them in a .env file that I don't check into GitHub. Uh, so for that, the issue was for the version of the app that I deployed to the Elastic Beanstalk instance could not access the couldn't access the environment variable. It simply didn't know what that variable meant. And so what this means was, I simply did not know. I did realize that it's because I simply did not know how to configure environment variables for an API deployed on the Elastic Beanstalk environment. So it's actually fairly easy. It's fairly straightforward. It's nothing too complicated, and I'll write a quick little post on that on my blog, and I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. For that, I'll update it. I won't have the time to write that at this point, but whenever I do, I'll make sure I put a link to that post in the description of this video. I'll update the description of that. So yeah, today was alright. There was I didn't spend a lot of time, but there was a bit of success, and I'm very happy about that. And my goal is to actually update the my day-to-day front end to show some better data. So when you log into the app, you can add your to-do list, you can add your tasks for the day, and you can also check the weather. I'll also update the API, the Node REST API to store notes. No wait, sorry. I'll update the React app to actually add notes as well, and I'll link the back end and the front end and together, and so it all just works seamlessly. So you can log into whatever browser you want to, and you can just get all your data. It may sound something trivial, but it's a fair bit of work, and there's quite a few moving parts. And what makes it challenging is when there's only one person working on it, and as usual, this is what it's like. This is a startup, and any person working in a startup is always spread too thin. So there's that. No complaints about that. And yes, so hopefully I get this done soon enough, and somehow balance it with my day job as well. So yeah, until next time, live long and prosper. And do check out the links to my GitHub repository as well as the blog post that I'm talking about. So yeah, until next time.